What's up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to another video. This is going to be my last video, I believe, for the Spring Cup, except maybe if we do some Spicy Saturday stuff. But we hit number 31 on the global leaderboard for GBL, and this was a good week that shows the roller coaster and the good example of the roller coaster that is the Go Battle League, because we were stuck in the 2400s for a good 4 or 5 days. Weren't climbing much, and I was trying, and all my friends were hitting the leaderboard, and I'm seeing people posting they're like top 10, and I'm like, dang, I'm nowhere near the leaderboard. And we found a team with an obscure Pokemon in Kingdra, and we're able to go 18-6-1, then 18-7 back-to-back days, climbing 300 points and hitting expert and getting number 31 on the leaderboard. So it shows you sometimes in Go Battle League, things might not be going your way, and you just got to try and persevere, try to maybe figure out a team that works, that's going to work better for you. And that's what we tried to do here. Empoleon, Shadow, Kingdra, and Tropius. This is going to be a longer video. I have 3 entire sets in this video that you're going to get to see. So maybe we'll do a little bit more of a chillaxed commentary as this video is longer. I know some of you guys like the longer videos because you like to just put it on in the background. So that's what we'll do here and just have some fun as Tropius is aligned with the Pharaoh Thorn here. And Tropius and Kingdra were probably the 2 MVPs of this team. Empoleon held its own, of course, and was more of like coverage for the other 2, right? Empoleon was like good coverage for Abomasnow, for example. But Kingdra and Tropius were really the 2 Pokemon that put in a ton of work on this line. So we see the opposing Tropius come in. We are going to throw our Aerial Ace. In comes a Lantern, sparks us down. And we are going to come in with our Kingdra, of course, because we cannot have our Empoleon lined up with this Lantern. They're going to fire off a move. I'm debating whether I want to shield or not, and I do get Surf Beta. That's pretty rough. Honestly, not even sure if our opponent bothered building up to the Thunderbolt, so I might be misplaying this quite badly. They call the Octazooka as well. They get debuffed. At this point, I'm like, there's no reason for them not to Thunderbolt me, so I'm just going to shield up this one, and we do get the farm down. They still have both of their shields, however. So I really need to get this Octazooka debuff. If I don't get this Octazooka debuff, I might be in trouble. And luckily, I get the Octazooka debuff. I also got the shield, so this should secure the victory for us. And one thing about running obscure Pokemon that people aren't used to is you also will force them to make some more misplays because they're not used to playing those Pokemon. So Kingdra, I oftentimes would get a shield when Octazooka wasn't very threatening, and I wasn't even built up to the Outrage, because not a lot of people are going to know the counts for Dragon Breath plus Octazooka and Outrage. It's 17 Dragon Breaths for the Zuka, and then Outrage is 60 energy, I believe, so it'd be 20 Dragon Breaths for the Outrage. Here we see Shadow Quagsire, tough lead. We're going to save swap the Kingdra, see if we can find a way out of this. We also play some high-profile names throughout this video, some amazing battlers. And we're going to see the Tropius swap in. Kingdra going straight for the Outrage. And here's where I like going straight Outrage, because bang, it lands. And if you're looking from the opponent's perspective, right, I'm not sure if I should have shielded this, because I think I might have been able to live the Leaf Blade and Dragon Breath down, so that might have been a bit of a wasted shield. But in my head, I was thinking I need to make sure I keep switch. So let's see how this game plays out. In comes Trev. And Trev is going to attempt to go for the farm down. I go for the Octazooka bait here, and unfortunately he calls. That's pretty rough for me. I also don't get the debuff, so a double whammy. I'm going to have to sacrifice my Emp. I go for the catch here on Tropius, and I'm unsuccessful. So at this point, our opponent has won this game. I had this person, I think, come into chat after to tell me how bad I am at the game. GG's to them. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. They came in to say GG's, not to say how bad I am, but it's usually the games I play the worst possible are the games that are described as good to me. And our opponent gives us the business there. If I had simply not shielded the Leaf Blade, I can look off on the side because we were just over 50%. So let's see. If I look up on PvPoke how much a Leaf Blade from a Tropius does to a, let's see, I'm going to the single battle. Trope versus Kingdra, the Shadow variant. It looks like Leaf Blade does... Looks like Leaf Blade does 44.5%. So I definitely would have been able to live that. Still had a shield to hide behind and probably would have won that game. So poorly played by me. But it happens. And we miss a bubble on the drill pack because we're probably like talking to chat or something. And we should be concentrating. Scald comes through from Tentacruel. They debuff us. This is a meta, right, where you see a lot of the same matchups over and over again. And as you play them more and more, you start to like play them differently. I would anticipate after this, I go straight into Kingdra to go for the Dragon Breath down. And do I get it? I do not, but I draw out the Lantern here. And the fact that Empoleon is just avoiding Lantern in this team composition is pretty good for us. I go directly for the Outrage, and I thought it was kind of a safe play, and I actually get the charge attack priority, which is massive, because now I can safely let this go, and he also Surf baits me as well. He's going to have to throw another Surf here at some point. I think I should live the Surf, but the next Spark should probably knock us out. Remember, Surf is double resisted because of that Dragon Water dual typing. Can't come in with Emps, or we're going to have to come in with Tropius, and at this point I'm thinking like, I got to probably shield something at this point. We don't want Fast Move to become an issue in the end, and we successfully shield the Thunderbolt. That's pretty nice. We're going to overfarm energy, go for this Leaf Blade here. This would, of course, knock out the Lantern if it connects the opponent. Going to let their Lantern go. What's going to be in the back? It's a Pelipper. And normally this is not a good matchup for Tropius, but the fact that we're basically starting ahead almost a full charge attack is pretty big for us. And we know Leaf Blade isn't going to threaten to knock out, but it is still going to be threatening. I shield. I get baited by the Weather Ball. And he settles for Weather Ball here. I'm not sure why. Because I no longer have a shield. He lives a Leaf Blade. I wonder if the opponent was thinking that Leaf Blade knocks out the Pelipper from there, which it does not. So I think our opponent misplayed this a little bit. To be fair, I did also have energy on Empoleon. So maybe he was thinking like I had a Dropek banked or something, but I was still a few away if I remember correctly. And we double Leaf Blade the Pelipper for the win. G to the G. Also, side topic, let me know, YouTube comments, who are you guys rooting for in this year's NCAA tournament? I know it was kind of random. There was no like segue there. But I'm recording this very early in the morning, and my Marquette Golden Eagles play later today. That's where I went to college, was Marquette University, so I'm hoping they can make a nice run. They're a 2 seed in this year's tournament, and you know what would be actually crazy? I'd be so hyped, dude. If they can make it to the Elite 8, I can actually go and see them play. I sent it on a ticket. I got a pretty good deal to the Elite 8 here in Dallas, and if Marquette makes it to the Elite 8, I'll get to see them play. But either way, I'll get to see an Elite 8 college basketball game, so that'll be exciting and an exciting experience either way. But it'd just be extra special if it was Marquette. I would love that, just as a fan and an alum of the school. I enjoyed my time there. Let me know how many of y'all are rooting for a certain team, or if you're rooting for your alum, where you went to school, as we absorb the Scald from the Tentacruel and go for the Outrage. Bang, knockout, Squidward. What's in back? It's Roserade, and our Air Slashes are just going to slightly outpace the damage here from Roserade's Poison Jab, so we should be in a pretty chill spot. Really no reason for me to throw any charge moves at this point in the game, since he still has 2 shields to hide behind, because we're never even going to reach a 3rd charge move anyway. So pretty straightforward, I know, but it is a mistake I see some newer trainers make, where they might like decide to throw Leaf Blades there or something, or even Aerial Ace when it's really unnecessary. Because if they have 2 shields, right, there's no point in throwing a charge move unless you were going to get to like 3 charge moves, which we did not get to. So sometimes it's better to commit to those fast attacks. And here we go, Taco El Pastor. I recognize that name. Jelly lead. We have better answers for Jelly in the back, so we're going to swap out Jellicent, of course, resists the Steel Wing damage from Empoleon, and Drill Peck isn't, like, the best move. It's not necessarily a bad move, but it's not the best move. We shield the Shadow Ball here on Kingdra, and then he swaps in Pharaoh. This is looking pretty rough. This is looking pretty rough because we're not going to be able to flip this matchup, so we're just going to go straight for the Outrage, try to maximize our damage, and our opponent is going to throw the Power Whip here. I'm just going to let this go, and what my goal here is just... Oh, man, he has extra farm, too. That's brutal. We're just going to go for a massive air slash down and hope our energy on Tropius can help us flip this game. I'm electing to take this because I don't know what's in the back, so I feel like maybe Empoleon, we could better save the shield for that. In comes Roserade, and suddenly I'm like, okay, Tropius is kind of a core breaker to this person's team, especially with this energy now. I do the air slash, do another Aerial Ace here. Roserade is only at 4 poison jabs, so I'm going to hard swap Empoleon here. And I'm counting energy, and they throw directly at 8, I believe. So I know this could be a Leaf Storm or a Grass Knot. It is a Grass Knot. Roserade is dry. And now we know that Roserade is going to be 7 jabs away from another Grass Knot. So I am willing to just throw this right away because I know I can get to a Drill Peck now before Roserade can get to a Grass Knot. So we are chilling. And our opponent recognizes that. And that is a G to the G. So that was a nice little game. It looked like we were in a tough spot, right? We lost the lead. We lost swap. But once Tropius got that big energy farm down, we were in a great situation. And we're able to climb there. It looks like our elo goes to 2640 at this moment in time. And sorry, I got a little bit impatient there. Next opponent, Emp into Tropius. Solid lead for us. They swap Tentacruel. We don't have an obvious answer for Tentacruel swap, so we're going to be forced to stay in here, at least momentarily. We want to make sure we get off that Drill Peck right before they throw a Scald and debuff us potentially. So that's one key you want to do in this matchup. Our opponent waits a turn to make sure we don't catch. High level play there. We don't get debuff, which is nice for us. And, oh, I think I make a critical mistake in this game. Yeah, I swap the Kingdra and Tentacruel gets to the Acid Spray. This is a critical error by me. Because now a single Leaf Blade is going to threaten to knock out my Kingdra, and I'm going to get outpaced as well. So I'm forced with a difficult decision here. Like, oh, actually, it looks like he's going to go for the full farm down. I go for the Outrage, and he shields it. Nice shield by the opponent. Gets a full farm down. At least we got a lot of damage off here. And I'm thinking, okay, if he was willing to swap out right away, he probably has something in the back that can handle Empoleon. So I think my thought process here is just sacrifice my Empoleon. Leaf Blade connects, puts us quite low. It's his own Empoleon in the back. The problem here is we need to land 2 Leaf Blades, and we are behind energy. So this Empoleon is going to actually outpace us to the moves. And I'm not sure if there's really a win con at this point. Leaf Blade coming through. Going to be forced to shield. Like, Drill Peck will do more from Empoleon since it has a higher attack than Tropius, than an Aerial Ace would do from Tropius. Drill Peck a bit of a harder hitting move than Aerial Ace. We're going for the Leaf Blade here. Grabs the shield. And unfortunately, we're going to get outpaced, as we mentioned. The Steel Wing's really adding up quickly. Drill Peck does knock us out. And that is going to be a good game. I think Kazim came in afterwards to tell us good game, and I forget what he said. He said something like, like, getting off that Acid Spray was huge, and I'm like, yes, that's where I threw the game, and was really frustrated with myself. So it was funny. I'm like, yes, exactly what was very frustrating for me was very exciting for you. I understand, and well played by him. Totally outplayed us there to get himself the win. And we are searching for our next opponent because you got to have that goldfish memory. On to the next one. And who's our next opponent going to be? Starting to enter that Q time zone as we climb. A little bit of Elo Yuki, like Jaden Yuki. I think we've mentioned that before in a video. Anybody watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Academy back in the day? Dude, I used to love those, like, I used to love the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Yu-Gi-Oh's changed a lot. I used to be into it when I was much younger. Now it's like, it's way different. There's like synchro summons that I don't really understand how they even work. The game's like totally different. You see people summoning like 5 Mons on the first turn. It's kind of crazy. But I used to love it back in the day. We're going to lose the charge attack priority here, but Empoleon should be able to live this Hydro Cannon. So what we're going to probably do here is hard swap our Kingdra because we don't want to give an unnecessary like farm down if he was to swap. So this way we still have our Empoleon as a catch opportunity for later, which could be nice. Oftentimes a Tentacruel comes in here. Actually, it's Tropius that greets our Kingdra here. And I'm hopeful that Empoleon was kind of like their Tropius counter because Empoleon's probably one of the better Tropius answers in this meta. I'm going to go for the Outrage. I charge attack priority, which isn't the smartest play. That was kind of risky. I go for the Outrage. Is it going to land? No, it's not. It's going to get shielded. And I am going to put up my second shield, actually. Put up my second shield. He swaps into Golisopod, and this is good for me. I just go directly for the Octazooka because I want to make sure I get off a charge move before going down, and I actually get the final shield, and that's huge. We don't get a debuff, but I'm feeling pretty confident here because, as you're going to see, a non-stab Aerial Ace from Golisopod doesn't even do like half, so we can afford to take a couple and actually just over-farm here where we can make sure we get to an Aerial Ace against the Tropius. As long as I can live 2 air slashes here, I should be chilling. And Tropius, excuse me, is quite bulky. So we do live the 2 air slashes. A nice little energy management there in the end game to make sure we get off this Aerial Ace, knock out the opposing Tropius, and win the game. Bit of a 3-ball flex there, as they say. It's kind of satisfying when you can keep all 3 Pokemon around. I was going to say alive, but it's not alive, right? What's the proper terminology? Because they don't, because the Pokemon faint, right? They faint in battle. Anyway, going to search for the next one. On to the next, on to the next. Oh, here it is, Mr. Dunebug. The highly anticipated rematch of Rise versus Dunebug, the Empoleon mirror here. Dunebug has a case, probably the strongest case at the moment as the best battler in the world. Just such an incredible player. Is always on point with his energy management, always on point with his counts, and just has no lack of confidence. Always feels like he's going to make the right read in any given game. He swaps into Trev, lures out our Tropius. I wonder if this is like an Ivy dependent situation, because I've seen some Tropius that like can get away with Leaf Blading here and farm down. It didn't look to me like I could Leaf Blade and then KO in 1. Maybe I could have, but I go for the Aerial Ace to play it safe. Maybe I could have Leaf Bladed and then KO'd in 1. And we're awaiting what's going to come in. We already saw the Empoleon. He elects to come in with his own Tropius. So we're going to get off this parting Aerial Ace before we go down, which is good for us. He allows it to connect. He's saving his shields. And I'm thinking he's already taken some damage on both Pokemon, so maybe if I can just save my shields for Kingdra, I could be in a good spot. We both instant swap, and he swapped Emp right away, so I knew he was dry, which gives me confidence I should be able to Dragon Breath down this opposing Empoleon. And at this stage in the game, right, he's already kind of low on his Tropius, so all I really need to do is go for Octazookas here. There's really no reason for me to throw Outrage at this point in the game. We get the shield, and we get the debuff. That's big. Gonna throw another Octazooka here, and I think we're in a pretty good spot. Octazooka gets another debuff, and that should seal the deal. Dune was also streaming when this game happened. Maybe I'll try to clip that to make this like a short or something. But we get lucky with the 2 debuffs, so this Leaf Blade doesn't even knock out, and we get the Dragon Breath down. I think we would have lived in Air Slash because of the debuffs, so I think Empoleon would have reached the Drill Peck there. Wait, I forget how much energy my Empoleon had. Let's see. I'm just going to do a little instant replay. Sorry. The video's already long. Who cares if it's a little longer? Who cares? Probably someone cares in the comments. Maybe Jeremiah. Oh, man, I can't even. Skill issue. Skill issue. I'm just trying to remember how much energy my emp had. Oh, actually, maybe I wouldn't have got there. How healthy was I? Tough to tell. I don't think I get there, actually. So maybe those Octazooka debuffs were actually necessary for me to win the game, both of them. Otherwise, the Leaf Blade would have knocked out, and maybe I won't get to that Drill Peck. So definitely very fortunate to win that game against Dunebug. Now we're playing Thunder Cypher. Thunder Cypher's been a long-time fan, supporter of the channel. From India, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Drill Peck coming through. Shout out to India. Let me know if we've got any people watching this video from India. And Battle of the Birds. One being flightless. One a high flyer. Like Anthony Edwards. Anybody see that Anthony Edwards dunk the other night? This video is just full of random side tangents. But that was one of the nastiest dunks, nastiest posters I've seen ever in a game. We're here against the Pharaoh, and I'm just kind of gauging, like, my health. I feel like I can live off another flash cannon, so this is the con of, of Bullet Seed against the Tropius, right? Like, these Bullet Seeds are going to do nothing, so even with my little sliver of health, I'm going to be able to overfarm here, get off the Aerial Ace. And will this knock out, though? I'm not sure. It doesn't. They hang on, but I go for the one Dragon Breath to snipe him before he could get off a Power Whip there. And Pelipper comes in. I honestly, like, even now, I totally forget, like, the energy that Pelipper had. So I wasn't even convinced it had a Hurricane, but I shielded anyway. I kind of totally blanked out on how much energy it had. He goes for the Mud Bomb. We're just going to throw Zuka right away. Not because we're trying to, like, bait a shield, but we really need to debuff this Quag if possible, and we are unable to debuff. Our opponent ends up making a costly mistake in this game. So our opponent had an opportunity here to go for double Mud Bomb. Instead, he thought the Stone Edge would be enough, and this forces him to expend another Mud Bomb to knock us out. So if he had gone for the double Mud Bomb, he would have knocked us out and still maybe had enough health to get to a Mud Bomb against our Empoleon. So definitely very fortunate by me. Thunder Cypher, I'm sure, was kicking himself after this game, and we're going to deliver the Drill Peck here to knock out his Pelipper. He recognized we were going to get to 2 moves before he would get to another move. Those are the type of games where, like, my immediate reaction is like, oof, that's a tough loss for the opponent. Probably shouldn't have won that one. Versus when I feel like when I'm on the flip side, those are the games where I always get messaged the GGs. So I know some of you guys get annoyed when I talk about that all the time. But those are like the types of examples, right? Or sometimes I get flustered by it because my immediate thought is like, yikes, oof, that's a tough loss. If that was me, I'd be really upset. Versus I feel like sometimes the opposite is like, Rise, why'd you do that? I can't believe you let me win that. And like the immediate message. Like, I think people could maybe learn a little bit about, like, just empathy and sportsmanship, right? Maybe try to remember that there's, like, a person with emotions behind the battle and think about that when you're battling someone, right? Like, how would you feel if you, like, played really bad? Let's say you were even at a Play Pokemon regional, right? And you made a really bad mistake. You just lost concentration and you knew you should have won, but you threw the game. And then you're walking off stage and immediately, rather than like anyone consoling you or saying, good game, it's like why'd you do that? I can't believe you did that. Like, you know, so I think it's important just to try to have some empathy and understanding, right? Put yourself in other people's shoes in pretty much every walk of life, right? You don't know what other people are going through in certain circumstances. And yeah, just be understanding and be kind to one another. But enough of the jibber jabber. There is a Roserade on our screen. We still have a fully healthy Tropius. We still have an Empoleon with a little bit of health. And I'm thinking here, I can go for the Air Slash down. I'm debating whether I want to throw the Leaf Blade here, and he's still 2 away. So I decide I can throw my Leaf Blade here to force his final shield, and my switch timer is up, and I can swap Empoleon. He's still switch locked, so he actually lets me, if you're wondering why he didn't throw his move there, it's because he recognized if he throws his move, I simply just farm down and win the game. So he was going for a win con of like, he lets me knock him out and then Quag mud shots down Empoleon and somehow gets off like a mud bomb bait and a Stone Edge. Or maybe he was just conceding at that point. Who knows? But we get another 4-1 set there. The Kingdra team just putting in so much work. We'll skip ahead a little bit here. And looks like we're at 27-18 here as we go into the final set of the video. Empoleon into Ferrothorn. Or Ferrothorn, as I think the official pronunciation is. But I'm just going to keep saying Ferrothorn. We've talked about that before as well. I think some of the comments have told me it is Ferrothorn because it's named after like some sort of, is it like some sort of plant or tree? I forget. Someone will educate me. Rise, oh my gosh, I can't believe you forgot where Ferrothorn came from. My bad, guys. We shield the Power Whip. He did give us the sneak. So we're going to throw here. If I can knock out in 2 Steel Wings, he's not going to reach the 3rd Power Whip. And I'm going to gamble here, hoping 2 Steel Wings knock out, and it does indeed. We're going to keep our eye on that top right corner to see what comes in so we get off our chip damage here. And it is a Roserade. This is quite nice for us. You could argue maybe I should have like hard swapped here. And I'm really debating what do I come in with. I decided to come in with Kingdra. Since I know he has to go for like the big move more likely to threaten us, I put up my Protect Shield, and it's the Leaf Storm. So a good use of our shield, and it's his own Tropius in back. I go for the Outrage here just to guarantee the shield or big damage, and you see the power of Kingdra landing the Outrage. We also catch the Leaf Blade in the process, so a bit of a painful sequence of events for our opponent. And we're going to Air Slash down here and just win the game. That's the power of Kingdra. Obviously, the power, literally, in terms of like its attack and Outrage being such a hard-hitting, powerful move. But also, people do not want to shield an Octazooka bait because it doesn't do very much damage and it has the chance to debuff. So people are oftentimes so worried about shielding an Octazooka bait that they're not going to respect the Outrage. And it allows you to flip some games. So, a nice little dub there. As we've entered the Q time zone, 27-18. And here we go. Scroll back just a second to see who the opponent is. If it jogs any memories. Angel. Empoleon into Tropius. Probably the most common lead I saw over the course of the 3 days I ran this team. I ran it again today. Today we went 13-12 on stream. So not as successful as our 2 18-win days. But still positive, which is always good. And we see a Tentacruel swap in. Gonna chip with our Drill Pecks. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I make the same mistake this game as I did that other time. Go for the Drill Peck here. Gonna chip away at Squidward. Hoping I can live a Scald and get off my next Drill Peck. And unfortunately, the next jab was gonna knock me out, so I'm actually forced to swap out. And this was actually a mistake in my opinion because like normally, right, you want to swap out, you don't want to give someone unnecessary farm, but I should have just let my Empoleon go down and then came in Kingdra because then I could clear my Acid Spray debuff. But instead, I decided to bank the Empoleon to not give him that extra jab of farm, which was a mistake. We land the Outrage, but it's his own Empoleon in the back. If I was able to clear my debuff, I think we would have had more play here in the end game because our Tropius probably would have been like ahead. And when he swapped in Amp, and maybe we still would have had some play, but bit of a mistake by me. I think Angel came in to say GG's after, so very well played by him. He got the better of us here, and there's no longer a win con here. I go for a catch just to see if I can get the catch, but even if I did make the catch, we still lose that game because Empoleon was ahead on energy. Angel gives us the business, and it is on to the next one. 4 battles remain. Drag ahead a little. And here we go. Here we go. Rubik's Master. Oh, if I remember correctly, I think this was a pretty exciting one. So if you guys have made it this far in this video, I know it's been a longer one, I appreciate you. This is a pretty good battle here, at least from our perspective. Empoleon, spoiler alerts. I'm so bad with the spoilers sometimes. We make a nice Leaf Blade catch here onto our own Tropius. Actually, I don't know if this is the same battle I'm remembering, actually, so we'll see what happens in the end game. I go for the Leaf Blade here against Empoleon, of course. Empoleon takes just under half health of damage from that move. Man, I've been so bad at, like, reading what people are going to do recently. Like, I could have just thrown first, but I anticipated he was going to throw, so I didn't. So, a bit of a mistake by me. And then he gets the farm down, which is kind of concerning. We're going to come in with Emp. I do get denied a fast move there, which is a bit unfortunate. Hydro Cannon gets off. And what I decide to do here is take the Hydro and bank a move and swap into Kingdra. I did not think he was going to reach another move, so that was very unfortunate here. I'm like, oh man, this is looking pretty rough now. He comes in with Tentacruel. We are going to go for the Octazooka bait before he gets off a move. Would really love to grab the shield here, and we do grab the shield. We also get the attack drops. That is big for us. We kind of have... Oh, we called it. Okay, we call the Acid Spray. And at this point, I'm like, wait a sec. Can we get to the Outrage? And he goes for the Octazooka catch. But we go for the Outrage. And it knocks out the Tropius. And we have a Drill Peck loaded for the Tentacruel. So a crazy endgame. From his perspective, if he catches the Octazooka onto Tropius, he wins the game. But we committed to the Outrage and actually got there. So... pretty exciting. Pretty exciting win there. And to be fair, if he stayed in, because we got to that Outrage last second, I'm not 100% sure if we reach the Outrage if he stays in. So we might have gotten a bit lucky there to win that game. But well played to Rubik's Master. If you're not familiar with Rubik's Master, second place at last year's Played Pokemon World Champion. Just such an incredible battler. This guy played 2 tournaments. As people like me have traveled to several tournaments over the course of a season, and gotten like multiple high place finishes. Rubik's Master was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Portland. He gets second place at his first ever Play Pokemon tournament, qualifies for Worlds, and at Worlds gets second place for a ton of prizing. If you get second place at Worlds, bro, that's a lot of play dough, as they say. I don't know if anyone says that when referring to money. But yeah, Rubik's Master is an exceptional player. We eat the Power Whip here on our Empoleon. You've probably seen Empoleon versus Pharaoh maybe 3 times in this video, and I play it differently like every single time. So it's not always an exact science in this game. Sometimes you just kind of go off of feel. And we're going to get off our second Drill Peck here. We are debating catching. He just throws on Alignment. And here I'm just going to let it go, and I'm going to hope I can Dragon Breath down here before he gets off another Power Whip. Oh, never mind. I actually go for Tropius, and this is only a mere shot, isn't it? That was only 3. So yeah, we eat it on Tropius. I guess I was confident that I could Air Slash down before a Flash Cannon, so that's why I was willing to do that. We swap Kingdra. We're met by this Tropius counter swap, and this is going to be interesting. What are we going to do here? Are we going to bait the Octazooka, or are we going to go straight for that Outrage? I'm not sure. We shield up the Leaf Blade, and I'm going to go straight for the Outrage here. Will this connect on Tropius, or will they try to call the Octazooka bait? We connect, and now I am going to go for the Octazooka here. And this is what I'm talking about, man. People, it's hard to keep track of Kingdra's counts. We don't get the debuff, unfortunately, but the opponent definitely could have taken that. Once again, I make the wrong call and not going for the extra. I go for the move right away, so... Another misread by me. I go for the Leaf Blade here. We did call the Acid Spray, though. That's massive. Because now we simply can shield. If we had shielded the first one, the second one would have done more damage. So shielding the first one was quite nice, because as you're going to see, our health gets really low here. And we are going to throw the Leaf Blade. We just need this to knock out the Tentacruel. Bang, knocks it out. Leaf Blade, a really efficient move. Really solid damage for how cheap of energy it is. I believe it's 70. Is that right? If I remember correctly. Is it 70 base damage for only 35 energy? Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I'm crossing my legs. It's been a long time since I've done a commentary of like a regular video that's been this long. But pretty chill. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We got 2 battles left to wrap things up as we put a ribbon on the Spring Cup. And tomorrow I'll be live on stream as we get into the Open Great League once again. All 3 leagues will be live, so make sure to send me Ultra League battles if you guys want, as well as Master League battles if you got any fun teams there, because I'll be probably playing primarily the Great League myself, as all 3 leagues are live. So we have a tough lead in the Shadow Quag. We swap Kingdra, and we're actually met by an Empoleon, which is not the best answer to Kingdra, to be frank. So what I'm going to do here is I go straight for the Outrage. I guess I was thinking, like, I'd rather guarantee the shield. Oh, you know what? We did the sports commentary redemption for this one, so I think I kind of fibbed, because we might have a secondary Spring Cup video going up. That's specifically the sports commentary highlights from stream. So I decided to let it go. And because we had a bad lead, we got to like try to find a way out of this. So we get the farm down. We come out with a Hydro Cannon for this Quag, which is really nice. I'm hoping I get the shield. That'd be even better. But our opponent elects to take it. We swap. He swaps right away. And we're met by Roserade. And this is pretty solid. Because now this Aerial Ace is either going to force his final shield or knock him out. It forces his final shield. And at this point, I'm thinking, we've already landed a Hydro on Quag. I just need to be able to farm down this Roserade. And as long as Quag doesn't get to a move first, we should be chilling. I'm only going to be 1 Steel Wing away from the Hydro Cannon. Quag already ate a Hydro Cannon, so 1 more will knock it out. We get to it. And Empoleon able to overcome the devastating Shadow Quag Sire lead. And we take the win, baby. I think we got 1 battle left. Oh, what just happened? Was that it? Oh, my bad. Anticlimactic. That was the end of the set. That is a 4-1. We get our little reward. There's a Tauros on the screen. And let's see what the ELO is as we claim it. Claim that rank reward. Come on, Rise. Stop stalling. 2762, as we showed on the at the start of the video. Got us 31 in the world on the GBL leaderboard. I fell like 20 elo today, so I'm probably down in like the 60s or something right now. But overall, a lot of fun with the Shadow Kingdra team, and partially inspired by Mountain Dugong. He was telling me he was doing well with Kingdra, so we started running Shadow Kingdra ourselves, and we're able to turn around our Spring Cup in quite convincing fashion. After I talked about it at the start of the video, right? 4 or 5 days, like losing elo, staying the same in the 2400s, and then we change it up. We change the team. We change maybe our mental attitude, maybe be more positive, and we're able to climb up to the 2760s. Pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you stayed this whole time during this long, more chill video, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of you. We're also doing a Factor meal sponsorship this month on Twitch. We've got 2 sponsored streams. So if you guys want to use my code there to support the channel, you can get like 10 free meal. Sorry, not free meals. You get 10 meals for 50% off with my code. And it's like $60 for 10 really high quality, delicious, healthy meals. So it's a pretty good deal just financially, as well as you're also directly supporting me if you use my link in the description or the code there that you see on the screen. Works for first-time customers of Factor. So just a plug there at the end, and I hope you guys are doing well and enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Comment down below right now. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. And all that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.